Welcome to Foundations, Overview and Practical Uses of Logos's 39 Interactive Resources, Part 2. And for those who are interested, if you have to bug out a little bit earlier, we do have a replay. That'll start tomorrow and be available for 5 days. It's a stream only, no download. That's LearnLogos.com/replay. And then we also, if you want to take advantage of the special, we do give it a discount for the next 24 hours. So you can purchase this webinar tonight, and it'll be shipped to you digitally tomorrow. And I get up early and finish the edits, and that's at LearnLogos.com/buy now, and take advantage of that. So let's get started. We're going to look at the second half of those 39 interactive resources in Logos. So let me go ahead and open up Logos. Here is the personal book. And let me just go to why this is important, and that is these tools save time and bring together information that is often difficult to find. Now, I've created a collection of all these. You can actually search this collection. You can download it for free right now by going to Documents, then wait for the windows to refresh, then click Public, and then wait for the windows to refresh, and just simply type in type:/interactive. And you should see type:/interactive LearnLogos.com. If you click that once, you'll select it, and then you can click Add to your docs, and that will allow you to download. You'll see a blue bar appear and disappear quite quickly. And then you can click Yours, and you'll see it in the interactive book collection here, and you can click and open that. And all it is a simple rule, type:/interactive, and there are all 39 interactive resources. Now, not all of these are searchable, but some of them are. And so you want to have that added to your searches if you're looking for information in there. All right, let's begin with where we left off, and that's the Miracles of the Bible. This is an amazing interactive tool. So we're going to click the library icon. We'll type in the word type: and then interactive. We'll scroll down and locate our Miracles of the Bible. Let me make this window a little bit bigger. And let's see. In fact, I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to left click on the library icon and drag and drop that into the layout and release my mouse. This way, the interactive window that I'm looking for, all the books will stay open, and that'll make it a little bit easier for us to navigate. So here we are with Miracles of the Bible. And I'm going to click and open that, and I'm going to right-click on the tab and choose Open in a Floating Window. You can now see full screen. Now, this is really an amazing resource because to do this any other way would be very time-consuming. You'd have to learn a bunch of specialized searches, and that's no fun. Instead, Logos has made this very straightforward. So over at the left, you have Type, and these are the categories that Logos has organized all the miracles: healing, nature miracle, provision, judgment, exorcism, affliction, communication, and resurrection. It also lets us know who's the performer of the miracle, and that's the agent. Who's receiving the miracle? That's the patient. And then we have the book that it's located in, and then the beneficiary. That might be the people who are benefiting. So, for example, when the Jairus' daughter was healed, Jairus would be the beneficiary. They weren't healed themselves, but they were blessed because of the healing. And then we have the instrument. This is always fascinating to see the objects that are used in the miracles. Things involved as well. So this is different than the instrument because it's not the thing that's used to be the miracle, but it's part of the narrative of the miracle. And then we scroll down. Yeah, patient, hospital. Exactly. And then the audience, who was there to witness the miracle. And then the location. This is really fascinating because we can see that Jerusalem is the predominant place for miracles, but not the only place. And then the theme, and this is what is the miracle teaching, or what is the miracle connected to? And then there's tags. These are just additional ways of searching and finding miracles. Now, notice at the top right, we have text, and that gives us a brief description with the type and then the Bible passage. Notice that there can be more than one type. Be aware of that. Then we have type, where we can now look at this visually, and this can really be very insightful. So here's the main categories. Notice I can change the color. So if I wanted all the colors of communication to be one color, I'm under type. But if I go to group, You can see that there. This one you don't see much of a difference because it's kind of already in a group, but you'll see the difference in a minute. But you can see some couple different colors here and there. We can organize it by book. Now this is helpful because you can see the Old and New Testament resources. We can do agent, and this is really insightful. So a lot of people today will make the claim that miracles are still happening, and I would agree that miracles still happen, but the agent of those miracles is prayer. God had very specific time periods in which miracles came onto the scene, and you'll see a very fascinating pattern. For example, Moses and Joshua. That's the first era of miracles. Then you have Elijah and Elisha. Notice that Aaron could be thrown in the mix as well. But you have basically Elijah and Elisha, the prophets. And then you have Jesus and the 12 disciples. Notice that Paul gets thrown in there as well as Peter. This is the three periods of miracles. They started and they stopped. No one lost their ability. God ceased to perform miracles directly through men as the agents of those miracles. Joshua and Moses with the staff, or Aaron with the staff. You have Paul and the 12 disciples using their hands and so forth. That goes away. Now, God does perform miracles. He's not obligated, but he does answer prayers, and that's how he does it today. And then we have patient, that is who is being healed. We can see all those, pretty amazing. The things involved, now we can look at those. The larger the circle, the more frequently that object was used or that thing was involved. The smaller, less frequent. And then the location, this is pretty cool. Now we get to see a few more places. And again, there's more places listed. We just can't see all those names there. And then I think you can shrink it. Let me just see for the fun of it. Yeah, you can do the minus sign up here. So if you click the three dots, you can shrink it, and you'll get a few more cities listed that way. And then we have the tags, and these are, again, additional insights. Now, the way this works pretty straightforward is, and I recommend using the text, is you just identify what you're looking for. So if you're coming across a miracle passage, what you probably want to do is say, okay, this is a healing passage, or let's do an exorcism. Those are a little more interesting. And what's fascinating about the exorcism is that you don't see this in the Old Testament. This is all New Testament. Now, is this to say that demons didn't possess people in the past? No. But this particular issue is a New Testament phenomenon and very relevant to the New Testament picture that Christ has come. He is bringing the kingdom. He is delivering people. The Messiah has power over the demons. And of course, he gives that power to the disciples as well, as we can see those. They could cast out the demons. Even Paul cast out a spirit of divination. So this is a great way to study. So now all the passages related to this are right here. Notice, though, we can go further. Even though we've clicked on exorcism, we now have the remaining categories, and we can focus on just a book of the Bible, or we can focus on things involved, or a location. Galilee was ripe with exorcisms, and so now we can study just those. So this is a wonderful way to start with a passage and then work your way out. Now let me go ahead and return to Logos, specifically the program, and let's go to Matthew 4:24. So here we are, Matthew 4:24, and let's say you're just reading and studying and you come across this. We can see that Jesus was taking care of this, and there's a demoniacs, and he healed them. So I'm going to right-click on demoniacs. Notice here, and I want you to see this, there's this tag icon. If we click and expand that, you're going to see that there's miracles, and there it is. When we click on miracle, we have agent, patient, a demoniac. Now, if we click on that and choose search Bible, a search window will appear and essentially generate us a list that's very similar to our miracles tool. So I want you to be aware there's two ways to go at this, and both ways can get you a search result. Now, what's fun is that you can then modify this. Now, I think it's easier to modify it in the miracle tool than trying to do it within the search engine, because you can easily make some typo errors. But if we were to, let's say, get rid of everything in the middle and just do agent as the person, patient as a person, a demoniac, and exorcism, and run a search, we can see that we can expand those search results. And now we've got a very specific. But again, I still think the Miracle tool is a whole lot easier to do this, and that's what I recommend. As far as exporting Bible passages, you'll see that there's no exporting there. What you have to do is select the text and then press Control C on the PC or Command C on the Mac. Then you'll go back to Logos. You go to Documents, you'll click New, and you'll choose Passage List. Then choose Add and do Clipboard. And all those passages are there, and now you have them stored and you can go from there. So wonderful tool. And which version is this feature available? Great question, Sylvia. It should be with the standard collection, any standard collection. But with Logos these days and the way they've divvied up the features, it's tricky to know offhand. So what you'll have to do is go to the Logos website. Let's go ahead and do that just for demonstration purposes. And what we'll do is we'll bring in the browser here. We'll go to LearnLogos.com and press enter. And let's look up miracles. And let's see if I can just do a search on miracle to get me there. Hopefully Logos will, nope, that didn't work very well. So let me type in miracle. And let's see if we've got the tool here. That's not going to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the program and view all packages here. And then we can compare features right here. And now we can look for our feature by pressing Control F on the PC or Command F. And we could type in miracles and see if that comes up. All right, that didn't appear. Let me see if we can. Yeah, that's, again, now welcome to the problem with Logos. Doesn't make this easier. Let's see. Here we go. Interactive media. I had to expand it. All right, there we go. Now we can do miracle. There it is. So it looks like it's part of the bronze feature set. So the bronze is the minimum that you would need to do this. So even though Logos may have upgraded your interface to, let's say, Logos 10, you may not have been upgraded. So if you want this feature, you can do it specifically with the bronze feature upgrade. And or I still think the best way is to do the Faith Life Connect tool. So connect.faithlife.com. And this is a wonderful resource as well, where you pay a subscription every month, and that'll give you the feature as well. And that's something to weigh out. Okay, great question. All right, let's go ahead and click close on these two resources. One thing I do want to note is that you can, on this one, unfortunately, you'll see that you can't list the Bible. There's no Bible verses listed here. You can float your mouse, and your preferred Bible will appear in the pop-up. So just be aware of that. Let me go ahead and close that resource. Let's go to the next one, morphology charts. Now, this is one that a lot of people don't use. It's very overwhelming, but it's actually a pretty cool little tool. So the first thing you need to know is you need to copy and paste a Greek lemma word in here. In this case, we have this one word, iserkomai, and forgive my pronunciation of that Greek. I just murdered that word. And by pasting the lemma in there, we now get a snapshot of all its forms in the whole New Testament. Now, how do you read this? Because it can be a little tricky. So first we have, let me change the color here. We have this first row. And in this row, we have verb indicative 74 times in the indicative, 3 in the present middle, 9 in the future middle, 60 in the active, and 2 in the perfect active. That's it. That's all the forms it shows up in. Then we have the row, or that was the row. Now we have the column information. So here we have verb indicative as a singular 3 times, second singular 2 times, third singular 47. That's the predominant one. So these green lines are showing you quantity. Notice we go down, it's a participle, how it's used, etc., etc. So when you're trying to understand how a word is used, this is a quick and easy way to get there. Now, unfortunately, and I've made this request, but they still haven't done it yet, but let me just confirm. You would think because there's a lemma in here, we could link the Bible. So let me go ahead and click on here and choose link set A and go here to link set A. And if we click on any word here, let's say spread, the lemma would change. It does not. So you have to right click on the word, choose the lemma, which is the circle icon, choose copy reference text, then go in here and right-click and paste. And if that doesn't work, delete it, and then right-click and paste. There we go. Did I actually do the same word? That's apromai. That's a different word. There we go. I had to do Control V, so the right-click didn't work for some reason. Not sure why. Now we press Enter or click that drop-down menu, and now we can see all its forms very quickly. So very useful for a quick search. This is a lot easier than trying to right-click and do an analysis of all the search results. So I'm going to click on this lemma, and I'm going to search the Bible. This is every form. And if I click Analysis, and I'm going to drag this window to the left, now I can see all the forms. And if I use the right scroll bar here and scroll to the right, we can break it down into the mood and the number, etc. So you can see two different ways to view the same information, but again, depends on what your need is. So if we were to, on a PC, left click on this mood and drag it up here and release, the Mac you have to press the Option key and drag. We could right click or left click on that lemma and drag it down. Now, if we right click and choose collapse all, that meant from that menu that appears, we can see all the indicatives. And then if we wanted to go further, we can, let's say, go voice. So we're going to left click on voice, drag that right next to mood, and now we can right click from the menu, choose collapse all. And if we expand the indicative, now we've got active middle. So I'm reconstructing this table, but why do that when you have the table? So take advantage of the morphology charts. Now, how do I use this for Bible study? In all candor, what I'm looking for is the predominant use. So what I'm going to typically do is right-click on a word. Let's say this word spread, and I paste it in there, and I'm going to go, okay, so my word is if I float my mouse over the word, I can see the morphology information at the bottom left. It's a verb, aorist, active, indicative. Well, there's the indicative, okay? There's the aorist active, 61, and then as far as other information, it's third person singular. Well, that's 40. That is predominantly most of it. And by the way, if you click it, let me right-click and expand this, you'll see that the passages appear below in the Greek and in the English. Pretty neat. And I can float my mouse here, and it has the morphology search built in. So if I click it, I now can see a side-by-side comparison of that Greek word. So it's a really cool tool if this is important for you. If you're trying to understand the various forms, this is probably the best way to use it. All right, so those are all the features for that particular tool. Let's go to the next one, and this is Names of God. This is a really phenomenal tool, another one that really takes information and simplifies it for you. So like the other tables, here we have God, the names of God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. That's the Trinity. So we can see those in the Hebrew, Yahweh, Theos, that's the Greek word. So it's both Hebrew and Greek, and if we click and expand it, we can see a list. Notice we're just getting the beginning. It's in canonical order, but this shows up 5,330 times. That is a lot. That's the most predominant. So these are sorted by count right here. Now, if we want to sort alphabetically, we click A to Z, and now we can look at God Almighty and blessed and everlasting God and the fear of Isaac and so forth. And so you can see that there. Notice, too, that God's repeated twice because the Hebrew spelling is slightly different. And so we need to be aware of that. And this is a wonderful way to study the names of God. But it's more than that. It's giving you the passages. But what's really fun is this over to the left. So, for example, we have the category of language, speaker, the addressee, who's being addressed, the people, the places, the things. So we can see the places where the names of God is associated. That's pretty cool. But let's focus on people. And I'm going to go to A to Z, and we're going to look up a specific person. And that would be Hagar. So I'm going to click on people. I'm going to scroll down, locate a Hagar in the list. And you can see this is a long list of people. So it might take a few moments to get there. Definitely want a scroll wheel on your mouse. And there we go, Hagar. So we click on Hagar. Notice now the list is just Hagar and the names of God associated with her. So we have God, and we can see that there. God opened up her eyes. And then we have when she says Then she called the name of the Lord who spoke to her. You are a God who sees. Now, you could easily miss this and not realize that this is actually a Hebrew name. El Roy, the God who sees. And so these are little things that you can easily miss when you're reading English. But nevertheless, we can study the names of God this way. And again, to select these texts, you'd have to click and expand, and then you have the verses there. If you click the three dots, notice there's no export. Now, this can be a little tricky because you're not seeing all the passages, so be aware of that. If you were to click Control A, you'd get way too much stuff selected, so just be aware of that. So this isn't really ideal. All right, let me click that. No questions. And again, feel free to drop those questions in the chat bot as we go through here. The next one is another tool that's not used too often, but boy, oh boy, when you need it, it is a lifesaver. Now, I'm going to click the overview. These are the current ones that are done. Notice that